Okay, my butterflies, see how I like to match my socks with my clothes anyway. So we are on, actually it's page 59, if I can see correctly, yes. We're on post-traumatic stress disorder, a common anxiety disorder that develops after exposure to a terrifying event or ordeal in which grave physical harm has occurred or was threatened. Family members of victims also can develop this disorder. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, can occur in people of any age, including children and adolescents. More than twice as many women as men experience PTSD. Turn the page. Following exposure to traumatic depression. Alcohol or other substance abuse or other anxiety disorders frequently co-occur with it. Well, because you're trying to self-medicate, right? The diagnosis of PTSD requires that one or more symptoms from each of the following categories be present for at least a month, and that symptom or symptoms must seriously interfere with leading a normal life. So, reliving the event through upsetting thoughts, nightmares, or flashbacks, or having very strong mental and physical reactions in something that reminds a person of the event. So these are the symptoms you might have. Avoiding activities and thoughts, feelings, or conversations that remind the person of the event. Feeling numb to one's surroundings or being unable to remember details of the event. Having a loss of interest in important activities, feelings of aloneness, being unable to have normal emotions, or feelings that there is nothing to look forward to in the future may also be experienced, and feeling that one can never relax and must be on guard all the time to protect oneself, trouble sleeping, feeling irritable, overreacting when startled, angry outbursts, or trouble concentrating. Traumatic events that may trigger post-traumatic stress disorder include violent personal assaults, natural or human-caused disasters, accidents, or military combat. Among those who may experience PTSD are troops who served in the Vietnam and Gulf Wars, rescue workers involved in the aftermath of disasters like the terrorist attacks on New York City and Washington, D.C., survivors of the Oklahoma City bombing, and survivors of accidents, rape, physical and sexual abuse, and other crimes, immigrants fleeing violence in their countries, survivors of the 1994 California earthquake, the 1997 North and South Dakota floods, and hurricanes Hugo and Andrew, and people who witnessed traumatic events. So many people with post-traumatic stress disorder repeatedly re-experience the ordeal in the form of flashback episodes, memories, nightmares, or frightening thoughts, especially when they are exposed to events or objects that are reminiscent of the trauma. Anniversaries of the events can also trigger symptoms. People with post-traumatic stress disorder also experience emotional numbness and sleep disturbances, depression, anxiety, and irritable outbursts of anger. Feelings of intense guilt are also common. Most people with PTSD try to avoid any reminders or thoughts of their ordeals. And PTSD is diagnosed when symptoms last more than 1 month. Treatment may be through cognitive behavioral therapy, group therapy, and/or exposure therapy, in which the person gradually and repeatedly relives the frightening experience under controlled conditions to help him or her work through the trauma. Several types of medications, particularly the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and other antidepressants can also help relieve the symptoms of PTSD. Giving people an opportunity to talk about their experiences very soon after a catastrophic event may reduce some of the symptoms of PTSD. And now we're on the S word, starving. I only have this comment, and many people are starving for food in the world. We must find out the temporal conditions of those we serve. Helping to make others self-sufficient is the goal. Always make sure that you are aware of people's temporal conditions and even their physical as you try to help counsel them. Okay, the 6th S word. My comment. The main wisdom I use as a person and professional counselor is to remember that what is considered a sin can be different according to individuals' moral codes. Where much is given, much is expected. I have come to the conclusion that much hate in this world and destruction has been due to people not sharing Christianity and judging even within Christianity. Sharing Christianity is not just sharing what you think it is, it's acknowledging others who profess to be Christians and respecting them and truly sharing. Jesus told us in his Sermon on the Mount that we should not judge one another in the least. Why? Because of the vital importance of agency. Did you know that to be tempted is not a sin? Even Jesus was tempted in all things, but we are accountable if we dwell or act on it. Personally, when I was praying this morning, as usual, in the library, I had a prompting to share something with you. It's how I have learned to apply what I know in my life, more so than ever now, because when temptations come promising to bring relief, it's only temporary relief, and it does make us feel worse. I will apply the love of God in my life. Each morning I will let his love surround me. It will distill on me like the dews of heaven, and I will not need to look elsewhere, for this is enough. The everlasting true love that created us. So, in our next video, along with the S word of sinning, we will read about how we remember God has a perfect plan of salvation.